What's the deal? What's the deal? It's your boy Norbs, and this is the 10-8 podcast, and we are back. Shouts to everybody that's tuning in this morning. I appreciate you. We're about 7 minutes late, but listen, what am I going to do? I'm a busy guy. I don't know what to tell you. Usually Wednesdays, I have Christine on, but, she took the day off. She had to go to the doctor. You know how that goes. Health first all the time, but we have some interesting things going on. A lot of things going on in boxing today. Oscar, is he going to be working with Dana White?
Easy money!
What? KEYSHAWN Davis signed to be the brand ambassador to Ring Magazine. Congratulations. Chavez versus Jake Paul. Is this what we really want? We're going to get into that. And also, Boots versus Brian Norman Jr., allegedly a sparring partner, comes out and says that they sparred and Boots brought him to a knee. We're going to get into all of that right after the intro because that's how we give it up in here. Oh my God. What is up? What's up, y'all, everybody? I appreciate it again. Let me just start off by saying thank you to everyone that's been tuning into the show, retweeting it, showing love. It's it's an honor. It's a privilege. I definitely appreciate every time someone reposts, shares, the show. We started from the ground up, no favors, no nothing. And we're really growing on X. I really want to push it on YouTube. That's where the content lives. But for the most part, we're getting a lot of love on Instagram at StreetStarNorbe as well. Make sure you guys tune into that for your latest on everything in boxing. Shout out to In the Ring with Christine. Again, like I said earlier, she will not be on today, but she'll be back. I'm sorry. I apologize. I know, I'm not a pretty face. But In the Ring with Christine will be back. I think tomorrow we're going to give you guys a special episode around 2:30. We have another great female champion brought to you by Salida Promotions coming on tomorrow. I'll let y'all guess that one. I'm not going to say nothing. We also have the lovely Tiara Brown going to be on Friday. We have a lot of very big scheduled guests. Shout out to all of the guests that are coming on to the show right now. I truly, truly appreciate it. A lot of people are starting to come around to the show, starting to recognize it. Shout out to all of the promotional companies reaching out. If you guys want to get on the show, have an interview, you can easily reach me at X at StreetStarNorbe, as well as Instagram at StreetStarNorbe. So we're rolling, and things are moving. And I absolutely love it. Shout out to everybody who's inspired me to do this. Shout out to my brother, Gerald McCoy, for always being someone who pushed me and believes in me and wants me to do great things. But let's get into the damn show. Recently, sparring partner for, I forgot his name, for Boots Ennis and Brian Norman had this to say about a possible Brian Norman versus Boots Ennis unification bout.
Personal about nothing, but I do choose sides, and Boots is my nigga. It is what it is. Yes, Boots wins, and I'm gonna be honest with you, he crushes him. Yes, I'm on take saying he crushes him. Yes, he does. Now I don't got nothing against Brian Norman, nothing like that, but he crushes him, and he crushes him inside of 5. It's not the fight that y'all want it to be. And they can say whatever they want to about me. I don't like when this gets off, I'm sure they're gonna go. I don't care. He's gonna crush him inside of 5.
Yeah, you've been in there with both. Rate their skills, rate the power, speed.
They're not. There's nothing to rate. They're not in the same conversation. I don't even know why. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know why Brian. Yes, me and Brian Norman did spar. It wasn't much. We probably went like a couple rounds. I didn't get off. He didn't get off. It was a weird mismatch style. He's small. I'm bigger. He was quicker than me. I mauled him some. It was one of them joints. Like that's all it was. We really didn't do much of anything. As far as boots go stuff. Yeah, Bo right over there. Bo, I even have the conversation because I don't like that. Like, Bosley's not a person who comes out of character either. Bosley or Boots is not a person that comes out of character. So when they started saying the stuff they was saying, it was just like, all right, y'all going a bit far now. But even Bosley said it like, yo, like you DM'd him and said how, like, yo, you mean my son need more work like that? Because he know what happened in the spot with him Boots. Then they tried to say at one point it was a low blow. I was there, and I can show you where it happened at. It was not a low blow.
Well, what happened?
It wasn't a low blow. Boots caught him with a good shot to the body, and he took a knee. It wasn't even that big of a deal. It wasn't that, I don't know why they try to act like it wasn't that big of a deal. And
so apparently Boots, sparring partner for Boots, I forgot his name. I apologize to the young man. He didn't seem to really like what the comments were from Brian Norman Sr., who recently has been on a tour of promoting his son to fight a big fight and well-deserved against Boots Ennis. And that's the fight we want to see at 147, okay? I think that's the only fight we want to see at 147 for Boots Ennis. And I think the big question is, and again, this is after Boots' performance this weekend. A lot of people have been clamoring to see Boots live up to his expectation, okay? It's kind of crazy. Sorry about that, guys. I got to put my charger on my thing. It's kind of crazy because there is a lot of expectation towards Boots. A lot of people want to see Boots do great, and I'm one of them. I think Boots is one of those guys. I'm a big Boots fan. Now, having said all of that, he's left a lot to the imagination in regards to his past performances. Shout out to my guy Jay Will. He says, Barrios Stadios, I'm with you. I think Stadios is too small. I don't really believe Barrios is a threat at 147. It only makes sense to make it happen with Brian Norman Jr. But this sparring partner came out and said he's been in the ring with both of them. Didn't like what Brian Norman Sr. or Jr. had to say in regards to Boots and went as far to say that it would end early in 5. Boots would end Brian Norman Jr. in 5.
Easy money.
That's what he's saying. He's saying it's easy money. It wouldn't even be competitive. Wow. Now, a lot of people calling it a 50-50 fight. In fact, my co-host Christine says she believes it's a 50-50 fight. What do you guys believe? But the interesting part, outside of him saying that it would end in 5, he came out and said, and I quote, this is what he said. You guys heard it. He said that they sparred, and you know what happened. He said that Brian Norman Jr. was brought to a knee and says that the camps, the Norman camp claimed that it was a low blow, that they did spar, and a ferocious body shot from Boots Ennis brought him down, put him down to a knee. So, I mean, it is getting interesting. I mean, this is the fight that makes sense. I think it's the only fight that makes sense for Boots at this point. What do you guys believe? Do you think it's accurate? Do we put this much into sparring? Do we even care at this juncture about sparring? I personally don't. But again, familiar. Why can't I ever say this damn word? Why can't I ever say this damn word? Familiarity. Knowing your opponent or having past experience, is that a plus? We've seen that with Ryan Garcia. We've seen that with him and Devin Haney. We've seen that with Vernon Forrest, Shane Mosley. We've seen that with other fights. Is this a plus, or is the pros just completely different? I don't know. I ain't been in the ring. But some people agree. Some people say it is concerning. Putting somebody down with a body shot. Listen, I think the most degrading thing in boxing is to be put down by a body shot. The most moralizing defeat is to be beat to the body. So, it is interesting. Now, is this the fight we want to see? Absolutely, at 147 pounds. There's been rumors of Brian Norman Jr. turning down $2 million after being offered or after taking a fight for $100,000. Again, Boots came out and said, listen, wouldn't you have jumped at the opportunity to take that money? And this is what I got to say about this. This is my opinion. Every fight is not equal. Every opponent and the value of that matchup is not equal. So I cannot go against Brian Norman Sr. or Jr. in that regard. because simply the Boots and Brian Norman fight, Brian Norman Jr. fight is worth a lot more. I mean, clearly, I mean, I would want the most out of that situation. Again, Boots is the more popular individual, but this is the problem with the situation. Boots needs a big victory against a bigger name. Now, again, Norman is not the biggest name, but he is also viewed as the biggest challenge at 147 ever since Virgil Ortiz went up to 154. But we're going to talk about that later. So Brian Norman Jr. would help him unify the belt, and he'd have one more belt to go against Barrios, which I'm not going to lie. I think that fight is
easy money.
That's just the facts. So I think this is the biggest challenge, and a lot of rumors are circling around as well that Boots wants to stay at 147, possibly to fight a big fight against a Ryan Garcia, or possibly a Teofimo Lopez, which many people may view as the easier option as opposed to going up to 154 and fighting the monsters at 154, the Virgil Ortiz, the Bakrams, the Charlos, the Fondoras. So that may be the easiest route, and people are saying that might be the way that Boots goes. Now, I don't think Teofimo is a walk in the park, but he's clearly the smaller guy. That would be an interesting fight. I'm not going to lie. Ryan Garcia, I think he takes him down. I think he stops Ryan Garcia. Listen, I'm not here to shit on the Boots parade, because I got Boots in my top 10 pound-for-pound fighters. I think he's that good. But this is the fight we want to see, Brian Norman Jr. Do you guys put that stock into that? Do you believe that Boots can finish him in 5? Can Boots finish Brian Norman Jr. in 5? I mean, this is a big challenge. Brian Norman Jr. is a really good fighter. He had a very impressive fight, his last outing, stopping the individual, and that's what people want to see. But it's time. I mean, listen, to me, and it's just being honest, it is put up or shut up time for Boots. Boots is supposed to be a star. Boots is supposed to be the next marquee fighter in America. Okay, and to be honest with you, he really needs this victory, and it looks like he's pushing to get this fight. In fact, pretty much, saying that Brian is ducking the fight, doesn't want the smoke. I don't believe so. I think Brian Norman Jr. does want the fight. I was actually going to pull up to those guys sometime this week and have that conversation. But do you believe that he's ducking this fight? Do you believe that there can be another fight made at 147 pounds that people may want to see? I don't. I think it's all in on Brian Norman Jr., and I think Brian Norman Jr. is going to negotiate to the point. Eddie Hearn, what's up, baby?
Easy money.
Let's get this easy money, baby. This is a fight that people want to see. This can be the breakout fight for your man, and that's what I believe. I think this can be that. I mean, this can be one of those solidifying fights. Listen, and this is what I find interesting. I feel like, and this is just, I want to make this comparison. A lot of people, as great as Roy Jones was, okay, shout out to you never sent me the email, bro. You got to send me that email so I can make you a moderator. A lot of people judged Roy Jones based on the level of competition he faced or the lack of name recognition, okay? And, I think that was one of the biggest things with Roy Jones. But did Roy Jones really have the name recognition competition there? Now, I say that to say this. I feel like gifted-wise, I feel like Boots, I feel like Boots is literally gifted as one of those fighters. He's as talented as the best out there, as a Canelo, as a Roy Jones, as these guys. Okay, now the difference between Roy Jones and Boots is this, and I'm not even talking skill wise in terms of what's ahead of him. There are a lot of fights ahead of Boots, and there are a lot of tough fights with some names. Okay, now some people may say he's not willing to go to 154 because there's a lot of smoke. And there is a lot of smoke at 154. But he's surrounded by big fights. I wouldn't even be interested outside of the unification with Barrios, because I don't think Barrios is going to be a big notch on his belt. But to be honest, you got Brian Norman Jr. You got possibly Ryan Garcia. They're saying Teofimo Lopez, if you want to stay at 147, right? Now, MAW, what's up? He says, Norman, this is what we're hoping for. I mean, it doesn't, anything else doesn't make sense at 147. I'm sorry. I'm not excited to see Barrios. I'm not gonna lie. I'd rather Teofimo come up, take Barrios' belt, and then make that fight. I don't want to see that fight, but I do think he's gonna stay at 147, and I don't want to say avoid 154, but conquer 147 until he feels as if, okay, I'm ready. Maybe some of them guys move up from 140 or 154. Maybe they don't. But 154 is a challenge. And the reason I associated Roy Jones with the situation is because this guy has a lot of names in between 147 and 154 that he can really put himself in a place in history as one of the best fighters ever. Listen, guys, 154, the gauntlet at 154, Conwell. There's so many names to name at 154. And I feel like a lot of people, when it comes to Bud, they hang when it comes to Boots, they hang on Bud. Nah, you gotta fight Bud, bro. And this is just being honest. Bud is out of here. He's never gonna fight him. I think he fights Canelo when he's done. But there's a lot of smoke. Listen, guys, Virgil Ortiz, to me, he's the best fighter, 154 pounds. Why isn't Virgil Ortiz on anyone's pound-for-pound list? That's the boogeyman, Charles Conwell. Boogeyman. There's a lot of smoke that if Boots decides to take him, this could be one of the most historical runs in boxing history with one of the deepest divisions. Okay? There's so much. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, Roland. We got to get it going. There's so much going on at 154. If Boots were to conquer at 154, we're talking about some. Where is his legacy go? Can you imagine if he unifies at 147? All right. Yeah, okay. You know, damn, you dissing me, man. 154, and then he goes up to 147, and then goes up to 154 and unifies at 154. This may be one of the greatest accomplishments in boxing history. I mean, Mark Nash TV, what has Virgil Ortiz accomplished to be in your pound for pound list? I'm talking about potential. I say the same as Boots in terms of just talent. He's in my top 10. Like, I think he's that. I think he's a dog, and I think Virgil is going to be on everybody's pound for pound list, and I think he's going to win a couple belts at 154. Okay, I'm just saying in regards to the competition, if Boots were to, let's say, conquer 147, to jump to 154 and conquer 154, he's a Hall of Fame fighter. There's so many great fighters at 154. It's a logjam there. I mean, we forgot about Xander Zayas, another prospect in there. Can we see that type of a big fight? There is so many, the eye test. There's so many big fights to be made within 147 or 154 that Boots can make one of the most legendary runs and be legit a Hall of Fame fighter because of the competition he faced. But is he ready for the challenge? Is he ready to go to 154? Because listen, 154 is not going to be an easy fight. I mean, is he waiting for a couple guys maybe to move up? I don't know. But listen, and you know, people keep calling out Bud at 154. Why not Virgil? I think that's the fight to be made. Boots and Virgil. We were talking about it at 147. He said yes to it when he thought it was at 147 and Virgil wasn't going to be fully there. But Jesus, hype man, what up? What's on? We're talking about Boots and Brian Norman Jr. and what Boots guys ahead of him. And I'm saying, like, listen, Boots has a lot of ahead of him to solidify his status in boxing history and to make a lot of money. There's a lot of fights, but everybody wants to see this unification with Brian Norman Jr. So we're talking about that. MEW says, salute Norm, Christine, and chat. Smash that like button, folks. Hopefully Norman does fight. Appreciate you. Christine is off today, guys. She had something to do, but we will be back on tomorrow to make up the show, and Friday with Tiara Brown. But we're talking about Boots right now. That's the problem. Too many eye test titles being handed out, and then we wonder why these guys are in prima donnas. Listen, Mark, I can't argue that point, okay? What I'm saying is this. Virgil has 2 fights at 154, I think, right? He looks, and he destroyed the guy that fought Bud. He made him look absolutely dog shit, and he looks comfortable. But what I'm saying is there is a gauntlet of talent. The easiest belt probably to obtain at 154 is probably Fundura's belt, and that's not even a slight at Fundura. You know what I mean? I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Hype Man says Boots said he wasn't going to waste more time at 147, move it to 154. Wants to be challenged, but it's some worries at 147. Listen, everybody's at 154. Everybody. After Brian Norman Jr., I mean, do we really believe that there's going to be a problem with him and Barrios? I don't think so. I think he stops Barrios probably within 5, 6. If he gets Brian Norman out there, there's nothing left for him to do unless Ryan Garcia goes to 147 and he wants a big money fight. But where do we put that in regard to legacy? Is Ryan, the tougher challenge than going up to 154? I don't think so. You're talking about in the YouTube? Yeah, the YouTube for some strange reason I gotta fix that. But we're rocking over on Twitter, we're rocking everywhere else. We got over 100 people. I don't think that's it's just you. I don't think that it's just you. Oh no, Roland, it's all good. I'm not tripping. Shout out to everybody tuned in. I've noticed some other channels. Absolutely. But listen, to continue to speak on that. I mean, listen, Boots has, and it's crazy. Even for Bud, I don't think Bud had this tough of a gauntlet. This in the history of boxing has there been this tough of a gauntlet. Boots has so many big fights and challenging fights ahead of him that it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Oh shit, yeah, damn, yeah, yes, Mark. I am planning on pulling up, Mark. I would love to meet you at the gym. I might try to go this Friday, and if you're there, man, maybe we sit down, we have a conversation, and we record some stuff, man. I'm really looking to work with people, but I am planning on. I spoke to Brian Norman Sr. and I told him my best days are Thursday, Friday to go to the gym. So either this Thursday, Friday, or next Thursday, Friday, I will be at the gym and hopefully maybe catch Brian Norman Jr. and maybe get some talks with him and whatever. But yeah, I mean, look, this is a big fight. MAW says Boots should chase 147 undisputed, but if you can't do it, try use those titles as leverage for 154 title shot, but 154 is deep. Bachram is 154 IBF champ. Listen, MAW, I am with you 1,000%. I mean, where can we go? We got Conwell. We have Charlo. Charlo just came out and said, hey, I never lost the belts. I had to relinquish them because I took a chance and went to fight Canelo. Those are facts. Charlo had the belts at 154. You got Bachram, who's a savage. You got Fundora. You have Virgil Ortiz. You have Xander Zayas. You literally have a lot of fights that can keep Boots and putting him in the history of one of the greatest fighters. And that's just being real. I'll be at Hitsville. Okay. No, I'm in the A, man. I'm definitely looking to connect with people out in Atlanta in the boxing community. Yes, please, Mark. Definitely hit my let's definitely build. Moving forward, guys. I found this really interesting. I'm gonna pull it up real quick. KEYSHAWN Davis gets announced as
Easy money.
Yeah, he getting that money from Turkey. As big things ahead for this rising star, he embodies everything we respect in sport, skill, dedication. Turkey Ali has signed him on to being a brand ambassador to Ring Magazine. And what can I say about KEYSHAWN Davis? Nothing but glowing things about KEYSHAWN. I think KEYSHAWN, very smart kid, very talented individual, and is setting himself up to be one of the biggest stars in boxing. I love everything about him, the way he moves. I think he's going to be fighting De Los Santos, if I'm not mistaken, coming up. I've heard rumors of that being signed, but definitely choosing his fights wisely. I was hoping to eventually maybe get him against Gervonta Davis, but there's another kid right here that, in my opinion, has a lot to look forward to, especially if he does move up to 140. There's a lot of smoke. I mean, guys, boxing is in a position where there's a lot of smoke for these fighters. There's a lot of legacy fights that can be made. I mean, it's the real. Hi, Mason. I forgot about Charles at 154. I'm tripping. I mean, listen, guys, 154 and 140 are probably the best divisions right now. And speaking on KEYSHAWN Davis, I mean, like, again, I believe he's going to be one of those guys that goes and fights Matias. You got Paro. You got Tiafimo right now. There's a lot of good fighters at 140 pounds. You know what I'm saying? It's funny. I've actually, and not to jump back to Boots, I've seen people talking about Devin Haney. I forgot about Devin Haney. Is that a big fight for Boots? Listen, I think it is too. I don't believe Devin can beat Boots. I don't think it'll be competitive, to be honest with you. And listen, I love the Haneys, but there's a lot of fights to be made. Listen, even for KEYSHAWN, like it's funny because between KEYSHAWN and Boots, they have a lot of smoke in those divisions. KEYSHAWN could go up to 140. Some of the guys at 140 could go to 147. There's a lot of name recognition in these fights. De Los Santos will be a great fight. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing KEYSHAWN has that signed and delivered. I heard rumors of that last night. Again, I don't know how true that is, but if it is, we are being set up for some good fights. And KEYSHAWN, listen, he set himself up for a mega fight. He's very good at advertising. Listen, I love the situation he has with Ring Magazine. Maybe that arises a possibility of a fight with Teofimo Lopez, which we all know he's been clamoring to get. Can we see KEYSHAWN versus Teofimo? Does Teofimo view that or make that fight happen? I mean, this is a great fight. I mean, there is a lot for KEYSHAWN Davis moving up, and you got to congratulate this young man because, listen, boxing, whether it's the women right now, the men, they are really starting to create a lot of stars. We're not just hanging on hoping that Shakur fights Gervonta Davis. And I think KEYSHAWN Davis has slowly crept up, and not even slowly, he's just kind of like, boom, just hit the scene and was like, look, guys, you don't want it, I'm going to take it. And this is what I love and respect about KEYSHAWN Davis. And I think this is another fight in the right direction. And, everybody says, I think when Shakur fought De Los Santos that he wasn't willing to bang. And what does KEYSHAWN do? Goes right for that fight. And it kind of, I don't want to say stepping on his brother's toes, but if he goes out and stops De Los Santos in an emphatic fashion, you got to start talking about, hey, is Shakur the second guy at 135, or is KEYSHAWN ready to step up for a mega fight versus Gervonta Davis? And I think that is going to be the question on a lot of people's minds moving forward. And I love KEYSHAWN Davis. He's and the thing about KEYSHAWN, he's going out there to entertain the fans. He's going out there to be great. He's landing knockouts that are getting him the name recognition from not only the hardcore fans, but the casuals. And listen, I've seen casuals come out and say, hey, listen, we want to see knockouts. We don't want to see guys dancing around and being all technical. And that's what KEYSHAWN understands about boxing. He's not willing to sit there and just dance around. He has the ability to do it, but he is trying to entertain and put butts in the seats. And this guy, KEYSHAWN Davis, is on the way to stardom. And I love the kid. So congratulations, KEYSHAWN Davis. Salute, MJF, salute. Alexander Wilson says, it looks like Turkey is signing people as brand ambassadors before he signs them to TKO. Boxing, I bet. That Alexander, thank you. I think that is a great point, and I want to touch on that. Think about this for a second. Clearly, when you become a brand ambassador, you're getting another check to represent a brand. And then the key question is, cha-ching.
Easy money.
Wouldn't it be easy money, or wouldn't it be a situation where when somebody's feeding you from different angles without even putting you in harm's in danger, and giving you money to do nothing but pose and just be who you are and continue to be who you are, doesn't that help build a relationship and a business relationship to possibly continue to have a working relationship later? Doesn't it make it easier to have a conversation with somebody that has put money in your pocket, help you feed your family, put you in the limelight, to then say, hey, listen, let's have a conversation let's make this big fight happen? Doesn't it make it easier, especially when promoters and fighters have been at odds? I think this is a great move by Turki Al-Asik to not only continue to pay these guys, right, but pay them for something else and not overpaying them for just fights. This is going to push his brand and what he's trying to push out there and build relationship with the key fighters. What do people always say? Well, Dana White doesn't have the relationship with the fighters. How is he going to get them? He's going to build from the ground up. I mean, this is how you continue to feed these guys with endorsement deals. This is an endorsement deal similar to what a Nike would be. When Nike signed LeBron James, it was to make him the ambassador of the future of Nike. And that was a check. Now, again, I don't know how big this check is or whatnot, but it's a check. And what people like more than anything is checks. I think it's a great move by Turki Al-Sheikh. Absolutely great move by him. And I think you're going to see more. I think he signed somebody else as well. To be honest with you. Listen, guys, it is a way, in my opinion, to not have to overpay people to build a relationship. You're continually putting money in the pockets of these individuals. You're building the Ring magazine through the future of boxing. And you're kind of building a relationship that you're like, hey, listen, man, TKO, we can offer you X, Y, Z for this fight. And TKO is associated with the WWE and UFC, and they have those situations with Netflix. So I think Turki is aligning himself with fighters, paying them, and continuing to build a relationship by continuing to help feed these guys' families. And no better phone call is a phone call you hear ring. Hey, listen, I got a bag for you. You want it? Absolutely. And these guys don't have to risk their lives. And I think this is a great move by Turki Al-Sheikh. But also, speaking about Turki Al-Sheikh,
easy money.
I like this easy money thing right here. I'm not going to lie. And remember what I just said about KEYSHAWN Davis? He takes a picture recently and says, we're united to destroy boxing. Also just finished a photo shoot for Ring magazine featuring Lewis of Premier Boxing and Golden Boy. What is the big thing? Promoters are scrambling. Turki's doing his own thing. Golden Boy doesn't know what they're doing. Well, not know what they're doing, but know what route they're going to go in terms of, Dana White-Oscar relationship. What does Turki Al-Sheikh do? Brings Premier Boxing, PBC, whatever, Golden Boy together. And we all know that Dana and Oscar don't see each other, but who's the bridge? Turki Al-Sheikh. And I don't want to say deads the beef, but he is definitely on a promo tour to let people know, like, hey, listen, I can work with these guys. And Oscar really, he did say he's willing to work with Dana White. He's worked with scumbags throughout his career. And then this photo shoot pops up. Turki is aligning himself in a situation where he's going to make this work at any cost necessary. And Oscar has brought a lot to the game. He's brought a lot to the game. Lewis has brought a lot to the game. And he's just reaching out saying, hey, listen, boxing is going to be greater. Competition is great, but we can also sit in a room and have a conversation about making things happen for the future. And I think this is what it is. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see Oscar and Dana White do an event. Maybe it's too early, but I think this is very smart. It's all smart. Mark says, Al Money, what up, champ? Listen, Al Money, what up, baby? What up? I think, man, what up? I think this is what it's about. I mean, I feel like we're going to see a lot of these moves because, again, a lot of people, and Oscars came out and said it about Dana White, and they're planning for the future. They're doing this. But in the meantime, why can't we have Oscar online with him? He has great fighters, and even women fighters with my favorite, Gabrielle Fondora. He has Virgil Ortiz, one of my favorite fighters. He's about Premier Boxing. They have great fighters. Why can't these organizations work together similar to what I was saying before, what the NFL has accomplished, the NBA? These are all owners of their own entities that operate as one league and are bringing in billions of dollars in revenue. Why can't boxing be that? Why can't boxers get Nike deals on a frequent basis? Why can't they get these things? And I think bringing these brands together, almost as if a boxing NFL of boxing is being formed. I like it. I think everybody's going to eventually have to come to the table, or pretty much get bought out. And I love this picture. And listen, say what you want about Oscar De La Hoya. He knows boxing. He knows the business. He's a name. His name is synonymously going to always be mentioned in boxing. And I absolutely love the move. Turki Al-Sheikh,
easy money.
Just keep doing it, baby. Just keep getting that easy money. Keep bringing these people in. I think what he's done, and it's going to get some backlash, but I really believe what Turki Al-Sheikh has done is going to better boxing. But I think all of the elements and all of the pieces coming together and all of those great minds coming together, whether Al Heyman comes to the table or even Eddie Hearn and everybody comes to the table, I do believe that they can create a mega organization to where boxing is going to be as powerful as the NFL and things of that nature. And there's a lot of things that come with that, and I love what he's doing. Hopefully, Tiara, rolling, my man. I got you. I just spoke to Tiara this morning, I think, or no, late last night, and Tiara Brown will be on live at 10 a.m. on Friday with me and Christine. I got yo, bro. Listen, I'm gonna keep it real, rolling. You my guy. You my day one, right? So, and everybody in the chat, this channel is growing. Okay. I just need y'all to continue to push it on YouTube. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. It's kind of acting up, but everywhere else, we're rocking and rolling. And every promotional company has been reaching out. Some of the biggest fighters want to come on the show. It's just basically bringing the, just matching everybody's schedule. So listen, we're growing. Tiara's coming on. We just had one of my favorites, the Babyface Assassin. I'm going to put up her stuff, more of her stuff this week. Great interview we just dropped. You can catch it on X, or you can catch it on YouTube at NorbsRoll.com. I'm Norbs Roll Network at YouTube.com. But there's a lot going on right now. Oh, I didn't know she signed to MVP. Hold on. Shadesha Green just came on live on TBV. Really? Oh, nice. Actually, the person that beat Shadesha Green, she's coming on tomorrow at 2:30. Salida Promotions. I forgot her name. I'm so sorry. I'll try to catch a Tiara Brown interview on Friday. Please, Roller, I need you in the building. When you're in the building, it's like a comfort thing for me, bro. I need you in the building. But if you can't, just like, share, and those things. But Tiara Brown will be on Friday. We had Gabby. I'm sorry. We had the Lupita, the Babyface Assassin. I would love to get Gabby from Dura on the show. If anybody knows anyway, but there's some guys that you're going to be surprised that want to come on the show and have reached out. And when I announce it, you guys are going to be super hyped. I'm going to be honest. Listen, I appreciate everybody that's been tuning in. Don't get it messed up. Like, I really, truly appreciate it. And all the support we're getting all through the internet. Listen, we're making noise. People are reaching out. I'm getting straight from the companies, from Top Rank, from everyone, reaching out and saying they love the product. So we're just going to continue to grow, man. That's all we can do. Shout out to my man, Ryan O'Hara. He's going to be coming on sometime this week. I will be meeting with Brian Norman Jr. this week. Listen, and I'm going to say this real quick. I just want to say who's inspired me. Najee from Cigar Talk has actually been one of my inspirations in this. My guy, Jamel Herring, has been very supportive. But in regards to Najee, I don't know Najee. I've never met Najee. But Najee said, I've been around for X amount of years, and now I'm getting my notoriety. And who am I to be different than that? And I want to earn all my stripes in this boxing community. I'm transitioning from stuff that I used to do to this, and I have a passion for it. So, I totally get it. Has to be a lot of work done. And, shout out to Najee, man. He really inspired me to continue to push in this field that I'm very good at, and I definitely appreciate all the fans that are tuning in and showing love. Get Nat No Love Dove on the show. Mailman, do me a favor. I'm going to look her up. I will definitely try to reach out. I would love to get her on. I love interviewing the ladies, to be honest with you. I feel like I'm like one of the only people that's interviewing the ladies, and I've got a lot of inquiries from a lot of female champions, a lot of female boxers coming up, a lot of big names, to be honest with you, which is pretty dope to come on the show. Like, again, I said, Tiara Brown will be on Friday. Shouts to her. I will be at the Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano fight, the trilogy. So I'm going to continue to grow this channel, man. And with your guys' support, we're going to continue. And again, whether it's on YouTube or X or whatever, wherever the popularity grows, we're going to continue to push it. And again, that's really what it's about. Speaking of MVP promotions, and I'm going to save this subject for tomorrow's show with Claressa Shields. There's so much going on with Claressa Shields, but Jake Paul apparently has made or is finalizing a fight with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. I'm not gonna lie to you.
What the fuck you gonna do?
I'm not very happy about this. I mean, I like Jake. I like Jake a lot, and I want to support everything Jake does, just because everything he's done in boxing. Now, I'm gonna say a year ago, or maybe less than a year, Chavez Jr. came back and he had a fight, and it was supposed to be a fight to basically spark interest between him and Jake Paul. You know, we all been trying to get Jake. A lot of people want to see Jake Paul fight a real fighter, quote unquote, a real boxer, this and that. And you know, Chavez is a real boxer. Now, where do we put him in the rankings in boxing? I mean, you know, whatever. You know, he has a pretty good record for a boxer. I think he has over like 50 or 60 pro fights, whatever. But whatever. However you believe in what he was is whatever. But in his last fight, he was fucking terrible. I'm not gonna lie. He was fucking absolute dog shit terrible. Like, it was bad. And it was really sad to see. And I think that's the reason they held off on announcing that fight, because he looked so bad. And then I feel like they wanted people to forget how bad Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. looked in his last fight. And I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't forget. It was a fucking shit show. It was a shit show. I hated his performance. I don't know what the fuck he was doing. I wish he would have did a line of coke at the fight and just decided and got hype and really put on the show. It was absolute dog shit show. And Jake is now rumored to be taking him. Again, this is one of those fights where I don't want to see it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's just fucking terrible. Now, I'm not one of those guys. I've grown past the point where it's like, I don't care if Jake Paul were to ever fight a real fighter, quote unquote. And again, Chavez is a real fighter, but you know, his best days are definitely past him. But still a real fighter. And, you know, would it be a notch on Jake's resume? Possibly. Do I want to see it? No, to be honest with you. But I am interested in what Jake Paul has going on at all times. How big of a fight would this be? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, he has flirted with the idea of fighting Anthony Joshua, which I'm going to be honest with you, and I love Jake, but he will die in a fight with Anthony Joshua. It's just AJ is like, don't get it fucked up. AJ is that guy. I don't see people really being too intrigued by this fight. I don't know how Jake is going to sell this fight. I'm gonna be honest. I don't even know if Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. has a fan base anymore. You know, again, we all know his father was the legendary, arguably the greatest lightweight champion of all time, and Julio Cesar Chavez, arguably the greatest Mexican fighter of all time, definitely the most recognizable Mexican fighter of all time, maybe the most recognizable Latino fighter of all time. His son has done nothing to put a dent in being viewed in the lights of his father. But again, he has, and he dons the Chavez Jr. name. I don't know how interested I'm in this fight. I really am not. But one thing I will say about Jake Paul is this. He's going to have a pretty good undercard. He's going to have other fighters on, and I think that's what he's going to focus on in this fight. I'm not very hype about it, but, you know, it is what it is. My man Hype Man said Jake Paul is a cornball. Why? Why do you say Jake Paul is a cornball? I mean, I used to be on that thing where it's like, you know, Jake ain't fighting a real fighter. Or not. I don't care. I accept Jake for what he is, and that doesn't mean he doesn't have an impact in the sport. I think he's done a lot of great in the sport. But I can't particularly say I'm excited to see this. I'm just being real. Like, this fight is fucking terrible. But I do like Jake Paul, and you know, it'll probably be in Texas, something like that, and somewhere where there's a big Mexican population. I mean, Mexicans are everywhere in the United States, but Texas would be a big thing. Chavez again is I don't know. I'm trying to sell this fight for you, Jake. I just can't stand it. I think it's fucking terrible. I think it's a terrible fight. Bruce Guys, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Salute, my brother. Salute. We're live right now. Christine will be on tomorrow. I appreciate everybody tuning in. We got almost 200 people in here right now. Shouts to everybody in the chat showing love. I'll take some questions from the chat. If anybody wants to call up as well, I can put up a number. Just let me know in the chat if you want to call up and have a conversation. But this is what we got here. Also, let me touch on this since we were talking about Jake Paul. Claressa Shields, and I'm going to talk about this more tomorrow with Christine because this is a woman's perspective, right? Well, not really, but it's whatever. Claressa Shields and MVP continue to go at it, and Claressa. I mean, listen, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. It's just weird. And I like Claressa Shields. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen. It's very entertaining on the X social media platform, but she's been going back and forth with everyone, and it kind of makes me feel like, yo, bro, like, why not embrace what's happening? Like, I feel like, in regards to Claressa, she takes everything as an attack or a threat to her. She's probably never going to admit this, but just because other females are doing well, it's not a slight at you. In fact, it might be because of what you've accomplished in boxing, right? That so many more people want to see boxing, and it's kind of crazy because it's like a tale of two stories when it comes to Amanda Serrano and Claressa Shields. They're both very popular in women's boxing, but they both have different approaches. And it seems like Amanda is winning the public argument in regards to the GOAT status because of what she's doing humbly for other women. And I feel like when it comes to Claressa Shields, it's always, I'm the first to do this. And a lot of times it don't even be attacked. So again, I might be missing some things that be transpiring, but I really feel as if that's what it's about. Listen, it's a women's movement. Women are getting a better look in boxing. I think she has to do a better job of embracing that as opposed to taking everything as a slight at her. And, it would be very crazy. It would be dope for the boxing community, especially for the women's world, especially in women's sports, not just boxing. If Claressa Shields, and I'm not saying she has to sign with them, but just imagine them being on stage together and supporting each other and pushing the women's sports together. Can you imagine Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark at the fight, and Amanda and Alicia and Claressa and Katie all get on stage together and just push women's sports? But it just seems as if, and again, I don't know Claressa personally, but it almost seems as if she's just against any of that. And it's if you're not celebrating her, then it's an issue. But if you guys want to check it out, I'm going to be talking about it tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to do a special time, 2:30 tomorrow. If I do a 10 o'clock show, I'll definitely let you guys know. But yeah, I mean, that's what it feels like when it comes to Claressa Shields. As great as a champion she is, let people praise you. You know what I'm saying? Let people call you the GOAT. But also embrace other women. Embrace them and celebrate what's going on right now, because women did not have it like this before. So I'm gonna leave it on that. Today's a little short show. I didn't have Christine on. That's my road dog. But tomorrow I will be back on at 2:30. I might do a 10 o'clock show. If y'all want me to do a 10 o'clock show, let me know. You know what I mean? But we're moving and shaking, and we're gonna continue to build this channel. Thank y'all for tuning in. It's your boy Norbs, and I'm out of here.